God is dead. God remains dead, and we've killed him. How shall we comfort ourselves, the murderers of all murderers? What was holiest and mightiest of all that the world has yet owned has bled under our knives. Who will wipe this blood off of us? What water is there for us to cleanse ourselves? What festivals of atonement? What sacred games shall we have to invent? Is not the greatness of this deed too great for us? Must we ourselves not become gods simply to appear worthy of it? Nietzsche died and went up to heaven, and when God came over to greet him, Nietzsche pulled out his shotgun and was all... What Nietzsche is referencing here is the death of something deeper and harder to describe than just God in the Christian theological sense as a literal, omnipresent, and all-powerful entity. God is a memeplex, as per Dawkins. God is a narrative, as per Derrida. Prior to the industrial era, society was largely united by its shared religious beliefs, and these beliefs, whatever they were for your particular geographic region, stitched society together and created a shared sense of purpose and meaning. God was a functional meme within society. People used the God meme effectively for thousands of years in order to make moral decisions, structure their lives, and find meaning and purpose for themselves in the face of inescapable oblivion. God was the source of ontology and epistemology. God determined what the limits of knowledge were. God determined how it was best to acquire that knowledge. Everything worked fine as long as everyone continuously hallucinated their gods into existence. And then they accidentally summoned an alien demon from beyond the void. The Industrial Revolution and the adoption of the scientific method brought new epistemologies, and the old stories about gods and angels became harder and harder to believe. Religion was on the decline in Western civilization, and it's very important here to note the summoner-demon distinction. It's an easy distinction to miss, since demons often kill their summoners and wear their skin. This signaled the beginning of the end for grand society-unifying narratives. During the 20th century following Nietzsche's death, religious affiliations continued to decline, and although some political grand narratives managed to persist within Western civilization into the 21st, I am pretty sure there was, at one point, such a thing as Western civilization. I think it involved things like dancing around maypoles and copying Latin manuscripts. At some point, Thor might have been there. That civilization is dead. It summoned an alien demon from beyond the void, which devoured its summoner and is proceeding to eat the rest of the world. Who worships at the throne of an evil god? Century, these grand narratives of the modern era often led to genocide and oppression. Following the end of the Second World War, there was a sense of disillusionment in modernism, in the idea that if we just had all the facts, we could fix the world. The era of the grand narratives was at an end. The unifying driving force presented by these narratives had faltered into numerous smaller and more decentralized competing views. Without a central narrative to give you an epistemology and ontology to use, we're forced to ask a lot of questions to which the answers were obvious or self-evident in earlier eras. Questions which, from inside our own personal local narratives, still feel obvious, but that aren't shared universally across society anymore. Questions like, what are facts? What is truth? And who gets to write history? The decline of grand narratives led to nihilism and decoherence, with the ability of both individuals and communities to determine a purpose and meaning for their existence thrown into flux. So, how do we determine a purpose for our lives, or determine standards for our behavior, in the absence of a central narrative telling us what to do? Nietzsche said that we should figure it out on our own, through meditation and philosophical study, but this is difficult and time-consuming. Many people end up just drifting through life, picking up the narratives of those around them without ever realizing what they're doing, unaware of the forces surrounding and pushing up against them. Nature abhors a vacuum. If God is dead, something new will come about to take the place of God within the mimetic ecosystem. An egregore is an occult concept representing a thought form, or a collective group mind, a semi-autonomous entity made up of and influencing the thoughts of a group of people. Jesus is an egregore. Santa Claus is an egregore. Slender Man is an egregore. Feminism is an egregore. Capitalism is also an egregore. And those are all just the surface level phenomena, the ones that everyone actually notices. There are deeper patterns, beings that exist as a result of our interactions, or maybe exist without us at all. Who are these new atheist gods? At what altars does our postmodern society worship? To whose mad whisperings do we listen? What sphinx of cement and aluminum bashed open our skulls and ate up our brains and imaginations? Who worships at the throne of an evil god? As always, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're a fan of my content, you can support me on Patreon or donate to my PayPal. Links to that, along with my Twitter, blog, and Discord server, will be in the video description. Take care, YouTube. Take care, YouTube. This is High Vapocrita. This is High Vapocrita. Until we meet again. Until we meet again.